Hoceima and Morocco. Unfortunately, we have to leave. The hardest part of the trip is having to leave when you have had such a good time, some good people. But inshallah, hopefully again soon. Today now we're just traveling to, we're gonna fly from Melilla, which is a little part of Spain that's attached to Morocco. So there's two of those. There's another one called Ceuta as well. Yeah, so there's a border crossing north of Nador, and I think it will probably take us about 2.5 hours to reach there. So yeah, try to film some of the journey over there and catch up with you soon. At the border of Morocco and Spain, just walking through now into the Melilla border. Just checked into the flight, so flying from Melilla to Granada. Melilla airport has to be the smallest airport I've ever been to. I'm not gonna lie. There was only like a handful of checking in desks. Only 2 of them were open, like in the whole airport. And then the departures lounge is probably about 50 seats. And literally, it's like the space of 30 steps. Yeah, so it was a bit of a mad rush once we had crossed the border. The border patrol, that was like kind of a long process, so we had to fill out that card that you fill out every time you enter or leave Morocco, wait for you to get the stamps, and that was probably the longest process. And once we got into Spain, they just had a quick look at our passports and let us go through. Once you enter into Melilla, after a couple of minutes walk, you get to like the start of Melilla, where you can either catch a taxi or a bus or anything like that, and instantly everything looks a bit different. You know, everything's a lot more cleaner. Police patrol presence, and the architecture of the buildings is different as well. It's just a different environment. What's not nice is generally at a lot of places where, you know, there's borders and stuff like that. So the other side of the border where we entered from was Beni Ansar, and it was a real run-down place. And that generally happens where, you know, you find borders and stuff like that where there's one country which is more in poverty than another one, and a lot of people try to escape and stuff. And Melilla is very well known where people try to jump the fence. So Beni Ansar is like a real run-down place, unfortunately. Yeah, so once we crossed into Melilla, we waited for a taxi. All the taxis are white. I have been to Melilla before, and the last time I wasn't sure about the taxis and stuff, and that was just for a day visit. I think if I was to come again in the future, I'll do a day visit, but this time it was just like for a transit. The taxi charged us €7, although I'm sure the fare should have been €4.40 because that's what it was listed on his card. It's not a biggie, I suppose. You know, it just makes life easier just getting the taxi to the airport. It's only about a 6-minute drive. But yeah, finally here at the airport, and now we've got an hour's wait before the boarding. Spain again. The second time of this adventure. Granada airport this time. First time at this airport. I'm slightly concerned about transport from here to the city because it is a little distance away. I'm not so sure this time about the transport links. Now, worst case, it might have to be an Uber. But when I did have a look at the prices, it was fairly expensive. I'm gonna see if there's any buses around like that. But when I checked on Google earlier, there wasn't no information about any buses or anything like that, and it didn't seem like there was a lot of options in regards to transport away from the airport. But let's go through the customs, vet the baggage, and then we'll see. Outside the airport, managed to find a bus, €3 a person. Thankfully, that's a lot better price than paying for a taxi. Didn't see what the actual taxi charges were, but the Uber was almost €40. I didn't really want to be paying that. I believe there's 2 stops, although I don't really understand what the driver said, but he said he will tell me on the microphone when it's our stop. When we get close enough, then I'll have a look again on Google Maps and see the best way to go, see how far it is to walk. Maybe it'll be walking distance, or at worst case, it might be another local bus, because I know that Granada has loads of little local buses. So yeah, let's hope we get there. Just took some money out from the cash machine. This is where the buses stopped by the cathedral. So the actual stop is called Cathedral. So I needed some money because we ran out of euros from the previous travel. Used the Revolut card. I don't think I spoke about it in previous videos, but I'll be making a separate video just on the Revolut card. Yeah, so there's just one more bus to go to reach the hotel. So I'm going to try go to the hotel first, check in, and get rid of all the weight off our shoulders and stuff like that before maybe exploring, Granada a bit later on.
I'm sitting here on this mountain.
So just at Hotel Guadalupe, it's a 3-star hotel, paid around about €55. It's at the top of the hill, opposite the Alhambra. Last year when we stayed there, stayed in that Hotel Alexares. It's a few doors away from here. So yeah, we got the bus, which was only €1.40, which is a good value for money, especially considering how steep the climb is up the hill to the hotel. It is quite ridiculous, so you need to be like mega fit to make it up that hill. So yeah, €1.40 is definitely worth it. If you do arrive into Granada via the coach station, then you can also, I think it's the same price. You get 2 buses and you show the same ticket on both buses, and it's around about the same price to get all the way to the top of Alhambra. The first impressions of the hotel is very clean, very spacious. It's got a bit of a traditional feel to it. I don't know how old it is. I'll try to do a bit of research around that. A few hours left for sunset. Probably gonna go have a bit of an explore around, get some food, as we only had like breakfast today, and then yeah, we'll show you around. Let's go. Walking down the hill, still very bright and very warm. The walk's quite nice. It's like there's garden areas alongside the palace, and you can just really see the grand scale of this palace. Huge. A lot of it has been restored. You can tell it's been restored because it looks like new, like plaster or cement. But you can still see the grand end of of how the palace actually stood in its peak. And yeah, it's just amazing. So tomorrow we've actually got tickets, so we'll get to show you around the palace as well. So stay tuned to tomorrow's video, or the next video, might not be tomorrow, and you'll get to see it. Having dinner at a restaurant called El Taj Halal. Like most of the places on this main strip, the prices are touristic, so you can expect to pay a lot more than usual. This place wasn't bad. You get a falafel wrap or shawarma wrap with fries and a drink for about €6. And to be fair, the falafel wrap was quite amazing. I wasn't expecting a lot, but it was really tasty. So yeah, good meal. Just finished praying Maghrib prayer inside a masjid called Masjid al-Taqwa. A beautiful masjid, as you can see. It's very small but very highly maintained. We heard the call to pray from a balcony, so no speakers required. No speakers within the masjid as well. I believe there's another 1 or 2 masjids within the city, but this one was really nice. Just got back to the hotel. Spent a good amount of time walking around Granada, down the narrow side streets, and it's just amazing. Some of the architecture, some of the old Spanish style buildings, some of the Islamic influence on a lot of the buildings as well. Just beautiful. Last year when I visited Granada, I didn't see a lot of that, so it was a really good experience. I really enjoyed it. Just before coming to the hotel, I had some ice cream. Went to a really nice ice cream place, so you should be able to see the footage now of the ice creams. Really good, really good. And then what we didn't realise was that the last buses up the hill finish at 11 o'clock. That's PM, 11 PM. And it was around about 20 past that we wanted to come up. So in the end, we managed to get a taxi. There's loads of taxis anyway on the night time. And it cost us €5.50, which not too bad to be fair. It is a bit pricey for just a little short ride, but however, don't fancy walking up that steep hill, especially on the night time after a long day. But yeah, so now just looking forward to breakfast in the morning, which is included in the hotel room within the price. So I'll show you that in the morning, but for now, good night and peace.